This is the Nike Phantom Luna, which might be the closest thing we'll ever get to a Magista Obra III. But it's also made from her. Now, I'll tell you what that means, plus of course, what the Phantom Luna does well, and also not so well, in order to help you decide if you should buy a pair of these or not. Because as always, I'm JayMike, and this is my review of the Nike Phantom Luna. The Phantom Luna is designed from her, meaning that Nike have specifically taken insights from their female athletes in order to create a boot that caters to their needs and physiques, which differs slightly from male footballers. Now, of course, everyone out there can wear and enjoy these, but they are built using research and feedback from professional female footballers. With that said though, what you get here is a grip knit upper, so a fully knitted upper, and then you get this Flyknit dynamic fit collar to give you that seamless, very Zoc-like transition from boot to foot. And because of the shape of the boot and also this relatively soft and almost like mushy foam inner liner, it definitely gave me Magista Obra vibes. Something of a, I would say, a mix between the Obra 1 and 2s. And that's because you get this snug yet relatively soft and almost slightly adaptive fit, but in also a less loose and almost knit sausage-like way compared to the Magista Obra 2. So a little bit more anatomical and a little bit closer to the foot, but still comfortable. And the fit is actually also an interesting one, because on one hand, it feels like there is plenty of space all around the boot to basically accommodate for most foot shapes and make them happy. But at the same time, even me, with my relatively slim foot, I felt the upper all over the boot. It's not like I had any really annoying pressure points or felt discomfort, but it's maybe the equivalent of me standing very, very, very close to you, right up in your face. It's not straight up uncomfortable, but it just feels very intimate, and you gotta live with that. The upper, at least I would say, is very obvious around your foot. And in that regard, it's good that you have that inner foam liner because it kind of softens up, works as a buffer in the contact between the foot and the boot. But with that said, it's a pleasant fit. It's not uncomfortable at all. It just works. Close to your foot. But one of the reasons I think that the Luna is so easy to wear is the fact that it's just so foot-shaped, if that makes sense. I will also say that the lockdown surprised me. It was better than I thought it would be. And there's also a very nice hold in the heel without any pressure points, which is very, very crucial. And that might be because of this off-center seam, but also because Nike have again used their hollowed out promo heel counter that they also use on the Phantom GX. So no complaints from me there, very comfortable. Now, I will also say that I really enjoy this, the height of the dynamic fit collar and how it almost covers the malleolus, so the ankle bone. It's not gonna protect you from it hurting if you get tackled, but it just takes away the worst thing if you get grazed by a stud from like an opponent or yourself. Because yes, that happens, at least if you're Jay, and like, you know, it happens. What you need to keep in mind though is that the sizing is women's sizes, and it makes it a bit tricky. Now, I'm normally a men's US 7, so when I ordered a size 7 Luna, I got a women's US 7. And that's a men's US 5.5, so way too small, and I actually needed a women's US 8.5. So if you know your men's US size, add 1.5 to that size so you know what to get in women's sizes. For the touch, Nike decided to continue where they left off on the Phantom GX with grip knit. Now, as you maybe know, grip knit is this material introduced on the Phantom GX, which consists of individually coated synthetic yarns and then high tenacity yarns that form this incredibly soft and malleable upper that's also a little bit like spiderweb sticky. And it's an absolutely amazing upper. So you can imagine my surprise when I realized that the GX grip knit isn't the same, on the outside at least, as the Luna grip knit. Because on the Phantom Luna, it appears that Nike have, I guess, coated the actual knit with a thin layer of silicone, meaning that it's just a little bit matte and smooth and not very spiderweb-like sticky. But instead, of course, you have these molded textured ribs, which do add a bit of texture and grip on the ball. And actually, they match the average female footballer's touch map. See, because her feet are on average 10% smaller than men's, and because they play with the same ball, female footballers have a slightly bigger touch map, so you get more texture on the boot.
which is nice. But GripNet grievances aside, and I have to be fair here, the touch is actually pretty decent. Now, it's a bit direct, you feel a lot of the ball, but you also get that lovely hint of elegance, probably because of that soft, mushy foam liner. So the foam liner does a lot of good things for the Phantom Luna. Now thankfully also the texture in here, it's actually pretty nice on the ball. It gives you this really interesting level of tactility and sense of grip when you touch the ball, actually no matter where you touch the ball, but without ever feeling as if the ball is overly sticky on the boots either. You can almost hear it. Now, I feel that it's a bit more balanced and probably slightly more traditionally textured than the Phantom GX. And I will say that it has grip and texture enough, but it also didn't give me the same wow factor as the GX did. I feel it's a bit of a wasted opportunity. I mean, GripNet, damn it.
However, the big innovation lies in the outsole. See, Nike found that female footballers are 3 to 5 times more likely to get knee injuries compared to their male counterparts. So they engineered a tooling to combat exactly that.
And the result is this Nike Cyclone 360 stud pattern, which, I mean, you gotta hand it to them. They know what they're doing with the naming and their branding. But anyways, is this pattern of 5 bladed studs sitting in a circular shape under the very forefoot to make sure that you get enough multi-directional traction, so you can push off in any direction, but also to minimize that rotational stress that you put on your joints and your knees, to hopefully at least minimize the amount of twists that you get to your knee when you plant your foot and try to change direction. And at first, I was skeptical when I heard about it, but I also gotta hold my hands up and say that after trying it, I really think it is quite good. It's quite good. Because there is just a great response whenever you're on your forefoot and make those cuts and changes of direction. Probably because Nike have made it feel as if the studs bite really well when you plant your foot, but also release off the ground quick enough to never feel unsafe and as if the boots will get stuck, which usually leads to those nasty pulls and twists in your knees. And okay, the boots might not be the most aggressive feeling in terms of linear acceleration, but that's also okay because when it comes to those changes of direction, when you're on your forefoot, I'm actually really impressed. Now the rest of the tooling is, as you can see, it's on the flexible side, which is nice if you like that really free sensation, but, well, I'll get back to that later. However, it's not all perfect on the Luna. So here are 4 annoying things, aka 4 minor red flags. Who makes these jokes? But anyways, you also need to know about them. Now, the first thing is that this, I don't know what they've done, but it feels like this silicone top coating, which makes for a less grippy experience than on the Nike Phantom GX. And knowing what GripNet can do, I wanted to feel the power and the awesomeness of GripNet on the Phantom Luna as well. And I don't quite feel that. And then there is the upper, which, I mean, it's definitely soft, absolutely, but it also felt a little bit firmer and slightly more structured compared to the Phantom GX, which for me meant a slightly longer break-in time, actually. And while it's definitely not a deal breaker because it is soft and it will soften up, it just felt a bit more, like, plasticky isn't a nice word, but just a little bit more rigid at first. And then there's the asymmetrical lacing, which I admit, it is a very personal thing and some people will actually enjoy this. But if you ask me, I would have preferred it to go to the outside to clean up the striking surface. Might just be me. And also, for me, the midfoot and the outsole could have used a little bit more stiffness. I mean, it's comfortable and all, but a little bit more stiffness here could have aided that sense of underfoot stability. Just a bit more.
But with that said, the Phantom Luna doesn't have any major issues, to me at least, and it's a boot that's just difficult to be mad at, because overall, I think it does a lot of things right. It's just easy to pick up, put on, and enjoy.
Now personally, I enjoy the Phantom GX a bit more in terms of what it does with the softness and the grip. But if you miss those days of the Magista Obra, I will say that the Luna is definitely worth a try, because it kind of tastes of the same. And I will say this, that if you could take the Nike Cyclone tooling and slap on the GX upper, we would be talking about a serious boot. But guys, what do you think about the Phantom Luna? Let me know as always in the comment section right down below. Remember that if you want it, you can buy it in the link to Unisport right over there. Of course, also don't forget to subscribe to the channel with the notifications on. And if you want to learn new skills, well, the playlist right down there in the bottom left corner is the way to go. And with those words, I'll be signing off. Cheerio.